So it has basically come out just, and I'm gonna kind of like group this together with Marvel and their R-rated films. So rumor had came out that the Black Widow film that is basically said to what Kevin Feige wants to do, and it hasn't really been confirmed, but we can, I guess you could say, expect it. Which I'm gonna talk on that in a little bit about just the whole slate and stuff, because that's been crossing my mind lately. But so yeah, so do we need a R-rated Black Widow film? Would be the question, and my answer is no. We definitely don't need it. Now, I don't think it's true. Let's put it out there. I don't think that it's true. I don't think that we're gonna get a R-rated like Black Widow film. We don't need it. Black Widow can do good as it is. Now, I get like a lot of her past is, kind of R-rated, and, she is a character that will probably do good with an R-rated type of film, but don't really need it. I say if they do have an R-rated film, maybe it don't need to have like bitch shit, all these different curse words, maybe just the excessive violence and stuff of that nature. It don't need to be Deadpool-ish type of like, murder, but, just something that's really brutal, because I believe the extended edition of BVS was rated R, if I'm not mistaken. I probably could be wrong, but because of just the violence, and a lot of people have it twisted with the R rating. Now, R rating don't absolutely mean that you got to say like 1,000 curse words and it has to be blood everywhere and just straight nudity. It could like have an R rating because of just the violence. You have what's the movie? The Conjuring. One of my favorite horror films of all time. One of my top favorite horror films of all time. Got a rated R. But that movie doesn't have nudity. It doesn't have crazy killing up in there. But a lot of the people that's a part of the board that, rate these films, that decide whether it's a rated R, rated PG, 13. And like they rated it R because it was scary. Like too scary. And, they feel like kids, even with parent guidance, that's 13 and up or whatever, it may be too scary for them. So you don't necessarily need all the stuff. When people hear rated R, you don't need all that extra stuff or whatever. It could just be something where it's excessive violence. Now, I say at the most, that movie Black Widow, it would need I say it could push the boundaries of a PG-13. It don't necessarily have to go into the realm of R, but just push the boundaries. Like literally touching the thin wall before you like go out, before you like put pressure and break that wall into the rated R realm. Like you don't need to go straight into the rated R. You can just push the boundaries of a PG-13 and then just call it a day, because I could see it in the vein of like a Winter Soldier. It could be a spy epic, and you can put Hawkeye in there. I've always said before that I know a lot of people don't care for a Hawkeye movie or something like that. You don't have to have a Hawkeye movie. Maybe you can have a movie with Black Widow and Hawkeye up in there, and they play off of each other because they are best friends. And I would love to see more of Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, or Ronin, whatever he wants to do, just his character. I would love to see more of his character, and you could throw him up in the Black Widow movie and have it be a spy epic. It doesn't have to be anything super, super major. It could be like a Mission Impossible type movie, I mean, that is a major film, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it don't have to be like a straight superhero movie. They don't have to deal with anybody with superpowers. It could be just regular people doing extraordinary things, but it doesn't need to be rated R. It really doesn't. I think rated PG-13, perfectly fine. Still keep it in the vein because it is part of the MCU and everything else. So, but to touch on that, so basically word has came out that more than likely when this merger, or not even merger, but when this deal go through with Disney grabbing 21st Century Fox and all of its assets, its IPs and everything else, and finally get the X-Men universe back and everything like that, that we was trying to figure out what is happening with Deadpool, because we got 2 Deadpool movies. The X-Force movie is scrapped, and of course, it's not going to be any more X-Men movies after Dark Phoenix. But it's like, what's happening with Deadpool? Is they gonna make a Deadpool 3? Like, what's really happening? And if they do it, is it gonna be rated PG-13 or are they gonna keep it R? And is it gonna connect to the MCU? So it's a lot of questions surrounding that. So word came out that they're going to keep it rated R. That they're gonna have rated R movies come out. And basically, that's what it's gonna be. It's more than likely, it made it seem like it was gonna be separate. And that's just the way to do it. Deadpool is too good of a property, an IP, for them not to continue with it in a rated R stand. Now, I don't know if they're gonna do it every year like they did last year with Deadpool 2, where they make an R-rated version and a PG-13 version. Because to me, that seemed like it's doing a little bit too much. But I mean, Disney got the money, so they probably might end up doing it that way. You know, that way kids can see it, but you know, you have the adults can see the R-rated version. I don't know if it may come out around the same time, or they might do it like at one point in the year, and then the next, and then you know, at the end of the year, and they probably might do a PG-13 version the next year. You know, beginning of next year or something like that. But I mean, it's good news that they are going to keep R-rated films pumping out even after, you know, the deal, after all the ink is settled and everything is all copacetic and they have everything and they don't have to sit here and wait for certain properties to be theirs. You know, like Disney will own the world. And it's pretty cool that they will more than likely maybe even keep 21st Century Fox intact or create another division where they release R-rated type films and stuff like that. Maybe not be closely associated where it was like a Disney picture or something like that. It could just be like the Fourth Wall production or something like that, or Fourth Wall films. And then everything that come out of there is like adult orientated, you know, and maybe do it under there. And you don't need to connect it. Like, I myself am happy that the X-Men are coming, you know, to Disney, but I really don't want Deadpool connected to the MCU. It don't need to be connected. Now, you can build a universe off of Deadpool. Since the X-Men more than likely is going to be thrown in the MCU, you don't need to have, I mean, you could just continue everything from, you know, Deadpool. And have other characters that are R-rated be in the Deadpool type of universe. And have it like that. So, I feel like that would be the best way to go about it. And I'm simply happy for it. I knew that they were going to do something like this because it only makes sense. You're getting a lot of IPs that are R-rated. You're not going to turn everything into, you know, PG-13. You're going to have certain stuff that's on the streaming service that are R-rated. So how are you going to do that? I mean, Netflix even have it to where, you know, you have a kids section and then you have a regular section for like the adults and everything else. So, hey, I mean, why not have it, you know, to where you have a division where R-rated films are put in there, adult orientated films are put in there, and it's separated from everything else with Disney. So I feel like that's probably the best thing that they can do, and so I'm happy with that.